Hello there, this is Ty the Movie Guy, and I cannot believe we are already halfway through 2024. And with that said, today we are going to stop and rank my top 10 most anticipated movies for the second half of 2024. And geez Louise, that is a long title, but I don't know what else to call this. So before we get into the actually exciting movies, I just want to mention a couple other movies that I'm gonna see, but I'm not too excited for. Starting with some Disney movies, we have the Mufasa movie, and if you know me, you know I am a big hater of the Disney live action remakes, so doing a prequel to one of those I just think is a terrible idea. At least it's an original story, but why can't we just get like completely new characters, completely new story, and all of that instead of just these live action remakes that are just really like banking off of our nostalgia and all that. So yeah, definitely not gonna watch it in theaters because I hate this whole concept, but I will check it out for a hate watch basically. And then we also have Moana 2, which I was a big fan of the first Moana. Just the fact that, you know, Disney animated movies haven't been very hot lately. So, you know, I'll definitely check it out, but I'm just not too excited for it. And then we also have some Sony Marvel movies with Kraven and Venom: The Last Dance. And Sony Marvel movies are pretty rough, so, you know, I'm not too excited because they're all in the same vein, so I don't really trust them that much. But, you know, I like Marvel in general. I'm gonna watch like everything Marvel, and then I like Tom Hardy and Aaron Taylor Johnson, so I'm gonna watch it for just the Marvel name, the Marvel characters, and some actors I like. And then finally we have Beetlejuice, and I'll definitely check this out for Tim Burton, Michael Keaton, Willem Dafoe, Danny DeVito, and all of that. But I'm not the biggest fan of the first Beetlejuice. I only watched it for the first time like last fall. And, you know, it was fine, but considering I didn't really grow up on it, I don't have a huge attachment to the first one or this sequel coming up. So, yeah, I'll check it out maybe in theaters if my friends are interested, but most likely just later at home. So with that said, we can finally start talking about the actually exciting movies.
Fire, you son of a great power comes great responsibility.
My brother had a
You do this all day.
I am Iron Man.
Serious.
Now I am the comeback, the destroyer of worlds.
And just barely making it on this list, we have Despicable Me 4. And as the time of this recording, it is July 2nd, so that would mean the movie is literally coming out tomorrow. And side note, Wednesday's such a stupid day to release a movie, but I don't know, maybe it's an animated thing, so I'll probably just watch this on Friday. But yeah, it barely just made it on the list because, you know, I was pretty excited for it because I'm a big fan of the first two Despicable Me movies. They're very nostalgic to me. So, you know, I want to check out this new entry in the franchise. But this one's a bit of a cheater pick because, you know, since it's like almost out and people have seen it already, we've already gotten early reviews and they are pretty negative, which is quite unfortunate. So if they were positive reviews, it would have been higher on the list, but considering the reviews are quite negative, it is at the very bottom and just barely making it on the list because I'm nostalgic to this franchise, but you know, I'm still semi-excited because Will Ferrell's the villain, so that's pretty cool. And you know, I like this group of characters. I'm kind of interested in the whole superhero mega minion thing, and yeah, I'm kind of excited because of my nostalgia factor, but in reality it's probably not going to be the best, so that's why it's coming in at number 10. In ninth place we have The Instigators, and this is probably a movie that not many people really know about, and to be honest, I only watched the trailer once a couple weeks ago, and I can't 100% remember the whole plot, but basically it's about these two guys who start a life of crime basically. And what I'm really interested in is the cast and then also somewhat the director. So starting with the cast, we have Matt Damon and Casey Affleck, which is a great cast and a great duo because they remind me a lot of Ocean's 11 because they were both in that movie before and they were both in Good Will Hunting before. So seeing them back together is really great to see. So I'm really excited for that. And also the director is Doug Liman, who is a pretty good director. Specifically for me, I really liked Edge of Tomorrow. That's my favorite movie of his. And everything else he's done has been, pretty decent. But the one thing about this movie that kind of worries me is the fact that Doug Liman already released a movie this year with Roadhouse. So it's a little bit concerning that he's releasing 2 movies in 1 year. To me personally, it just feels like if you're able to do 2 movies in 1 year, if maybe they're both kind of half-assed, Roadhouse wasn't even the best movie, so who's to say this is going to be a really amazing movie? I'd rather him put a ton of work into one movie, quality over quantity. But maybe the thing is that because of the writer's strike and everything, one of them had to be delayed until now, or something like that, hopefully. And then also it's a streaming movie, so the good side is I can just watch it from home, but the bad side is if it's streaming, they probably weren't confident with it enough to release it in theaters. So it's got some sketchy things to it, but I'm just really excited to see these 2 actors back together for this new movie. In 8th place, we have The Wolves. And this one feels very similar to The Instigators because once again, it is 2 Ocean's 11 actors reuniting for a new movie, this time with Brad Pitt and George Clooney. And what makes this movie a little bit more interesting than The Instigators is the fact that the plot is a little bit more memorable and interesting, with 2 body cleaners who don't really like each other getting mixed up in some whole debacle and have to fight off some gangsters and mobs and actiony stuff like that. So that sounds pretty interesting. And also the title is named after Pulp Fiction, funny enough, because in Pulp Fiction, the body cleaner is called a wolf in the movie, so that's pretty interesting. And then finally, the director is John Watts, who is most famous for the Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy, and I'm a huge fan of No Way Home. I like Homecoming, and then Far From Home is easily the weakest. So this will be one of the first non-Spider-Man movies of his I will be seeing, and I'm excited to see what he does outside of the whole Spider-Man universe. So with that all said, that is why this movie is coming in at number 8. In 7th place, we have Piece by Piece. And this is a very strange but interesting movie, and that is the main reason why I'm actually excited for this movie, because it is a Lego movie, which, we have gotten before, of course, but it is now a Lego movie made by Universal, and it is the life story of the musician Pharrell Williams. And it's definitely weird, that's to say the least, because from my knowledge, Pharrell Williams doesn't really have much of a connection to Lego besides just liking it, I guess. So doing a biopic about him all in Lego is definitely weird, and when I watch the movie, I will decide if it is a good weird or a bad weird. But I'm just really excited for a new Lego movie because I am, of course, a big fan of the original Lego movie and the Lego Batman movie. And although he doesn't have a huge tie to Lego, I think music and animation in general lend themselves very well together, like thinking back to the Spider-Verse movies. So I think displaying music with colors in animation is a really cool thing that I think they will do really nicely in this movie. But yeah, I think doing a Lego movie about Pharrell Williams is kind of weird. I think the best choice would have just been the creation of Lego itself in a Lego movie would have been cool. That would have made the most sense as a biopic. And me personally, I'm not the biggest Pharrell Williams fan. Funny enough, I only really know him for the Despicable Me songs. Not huge on the artist, and he doesn't really need a Lego-y movie, but just how unique it is and what they can do with animation and music is what excites me, and a couple other singers and rappers that I somewhat do recognize a bit more, like Snoop Dogg and Kendrick Lamar and stuff like that.
How do you do, fellow kids?
So yeah, it is definitely going to be an interesting one, and that's what makes me excited for it. In 6th place, we have The Wild Robot. And this movie wasn't really on my radar at all until I saw the trailer. Like before, I think I heard about it, and I saw a couple cool actors, and I saw it was DreamWorks, and DreamWorks, like Disney, hasn't been the hottest lately, probably because I'm old now. But until I saw the trailer, I wasn't too interested. But then after I saw the trailer, I was pretty blown away, honestly. Just something about the trailer I found very wholesome and heartwarming about this robot getting like lost in the woods, and then like learning about different animals and raising this goose, and all of this stuff just seemed very wholesome and cute to me, and I feel like it has the potential to be one of the best animated movies of recent years. And I don't know about touch 2010s and 2000s movies that I grew up with, but maybe there's a chance. Just from the general vibe I'm getting from this movie, I have really high hopes for this movie, which is saying a lot for an animated movie such as this. And yeah, it's got Lupita Nyong'o as the main robot, and it has Pedro Pascal as a fox. So I'm surprised to be this excited for just a kind of generic animated movie like this. But that's what I love about trailers. They can surprise you. So that's why this movie is coming in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, we have Joker: Folie à Deux. And this is a movie I talked about back in the first top 10 most anticipated movies. And once again, we are talking about it again because it has not come out yet. We still have to wait till the fall. But we have a bit more information and stuff regarding, we got this cool poster, and we got our first trailer, which was very interesting. And for me personally, the big thing I'm really interested in this movie is, of course, Harley Quinn, played by Lady Gaga, because, the only other live action Harley Quinn we've ever gotten was Margot Robbie. And of course, she did a great job, but she wasn't with the Joker that much besides the crappy Suicide Squad movie. So seeing Joker and Harley together in live action in hopefully a good movie is very interesting to see. And I'm a big fan of the first Joker because of how unique it is for a comic book movie and how dark it is, and the rated R. So I'm hoping it's got all the same beats of the original, just with Lady Gaga now and some music. I am in for a good time, hopefully. So that's why it comes in at number 5. In 4th place, we have Alien Romulus, and this movie has a ton of good things going for it, starting with the fact that Ridley Scott is producing it, and he is hyping this movie up, which means a lot coming from, the creator of this whole franchise. And then also from the first 2 trailers we got a good picture of what this movie is going to be about, which of course is what, trailers are supposed to do. And with these trailers, the vibe I'm getting are like tight, close quarters, and dark and spooky and different stuff like that, which of course sounds very familiar to the first 2 movies, which of course are, the best in the franchise. So hopefully if the trailers are like the movie, it will feel a lot like the first 2 movies, and that is a great thing to say. So yeah, I'm really excited for that, just because, it sounds like close to the originals and not like more actiony and big spectacle like these newer ones are. Close quarter horror movies, maybe sprinkle a little bit of action like Aliens, and it sounds like a really good movie. And the only thing holding it back for me, like I said in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, me personally, I like to see big name actors who I recognize, and this movie has like none. So that's a little bit disappointing for me, at least. And the director is Fede Alvarez, which I know from the new Evil Dead reboot from 2013, and that was a pretty solid movie. And so I'm hoping he can deliver another solid movie with this one. And coming in 3rd place, we have the movie Here. And this movie totally came out of left field and surprised me with the trailer that came out a week ago. All I saw was Tom Hanks in the thumbnail, and I'm like, oh, he's one of my favorite actors of all time. Of course I have to check out this trailer. And then I see it's directed by Robert Zemeckis, and I'm like, another Tom Hanks and Robert Zemeckis movie? And then I watched the whole trailer and I'm just like blown away by, of course, you know, the cast and the director, but then just the general premise of the whole movie taking place in one spot over the duration of like millions and millions of years, but specifically like, you know, the lifespan of Tom Hanks's character and his wife Robin Wright's character. And just I'm already like looking too much into this movie before even seeing it, but just like from the trailer, the vibe I'm getting is like the meaning behind the whole movie is how even something as simple as a living room in a house have so many impactful and meaningful events to a family's life. So much goes on in like such a simple spot as someone's living room, and I'm sure you can agree to that, and I can agree. Like so many things have happened to me in my house, in my living room, and stuff like that. So that's basically the vibe I'm getting from this movie, and I love movies with like a deep meaning and an emotional story and great director, great cast. And the one thing I'm worried about is the main premise of like one shot the entire time over like millions of years. It's definitely unique. I'm not sure if they can pull it off. If they can pull it off, it's gonna be like probably one of my favorite movies of the year. And if they don't, it's just gonna be kind of weak. But either way, I'm really excited. Robert Zemeckis hasn't really put out an amazing movie in quite some time, so it makes me a little nervous, but hopefully this can be his return to greatness. So that is why this movie is coming in at number 3. And coming in second place, we have Gladiator 2 for the second time. And to be honest, I was starting to lose hope in this movie just because we got no new information for such a long time. But then finally, a couple days ago, we got new stills from the actual movie, which reignited my excitement for this movie. And hopefully any day now, any week now, or any month now, we will hopefully get a trailer for this movie, because I think every movie that's like releasing this year has gotten a trailer by now. So it's gotta be coming soon. And when that comes out, it will hopefully make me even more excited for this movie. But from what I've seen from other people is that not many people are excited for this movie. Are you not entertained? They think Gladiator doesn't really need a sequel because, of course, our main character died. But considering it's about the son of the one girl who's the sister of the emperor, I think telling a story about him growing up and what happened to him would be pretty interesting. It's been a while since I've seen the first movie, but I'll definitely check it out before I watch the sequel, and see if a sequel was really warranted. But either way, I think doing it about that kid all grown up could be an interesting story to tell. We will have to wait and see. And then of course, I'm really excited to see Pedro Pascal and Denzel Washington in this movie. So I'm really excited for this movie, mainly because of the cast, and of course Ridley Scott's back to direct, and then borrowed trust from the first movie, but it is still coming in number 2. And then of course, in first place, to no one's surprise, we have Deadpool and Wolverine once again, and we are weeks away from this movie, and I cannot wait.
Let's fucking go! Let's fucking go.
I literally set up a timer like a month ago. I don't know if you can really see it. I'll just read it out to you. 23 days at 52 minutes and 42 seconds, 41 seconds, 40 seconds. That's just how hyped I am. I literally have a countdown to the exact time my movie showing starts. I even like calculated like 15 minutes of trailers at the start of this movie. That is how hyped I am for this movie. It's got so much going for it. It's the only Marvel movie of the year, so that really leads me to think they're really like putting all their effort, maximum effort into this movie, into this one great movie. And it's rated R. I love rated R. I love rated R comedy. I love rated R action. And then of course, the best thing going for this movie is that guy right there. I'm basically saying the exact same thing I said back in December, just because of this guy. But we got Wolverine back, played by Hugh Jackman in a comic accurate suit. What more could you want? I am absolutely ecstatic to see him back once again. He is easily one of my favorite superheroes, along with Captain America, Spider-Man, and Batman. He's up there with like the big four for me, at least. So seeing him come back with Deadpool, the two side by side, is such an amazing, like, classic combo, and seeing it like official on the big screen is just surreal. And I cannot wait for this movie. But with a movie with this much hype surrounded by it, there are a couple concerns I have that make me worried that it is not going to be as great as I want it to be. Starting with the comedy aspect. Okay, this is probably going to be a hot take, but I know Deadpool movies are like known for their comedy, but a movie this exciting with Wolverine coming back, I want there to be some drama to it, especially with how dramatic Logan was. I want that same amount of drama in this movie, and I'm worried that the Deadpoolisms are gonna undercut really dramatic scenes. And there's little snippets in the trailer that, like Wolverine in just the white shirt with all the rocks, that one scene, I feel like that's gonna be a really dramatic scene. So I really hope we get some tear jerkers and it's not all goofy, silly stuff like that. I want there to be a bit of a balance, and I want there to be both. And then also, we have seen tons of cameos, specifically X-Men characters, in the trailer, and I'm a little bit worried about that. I don't want them to cram it like Multiverse of Madness. I want them to do it properly. And me personally, if you just give me Wolverine and, you know, a couple Deadpool variants and stuff like that, I would have been happy. But they're just really cramming it with like tons of X-Men characters, specifically maybe some Marvel characters. I've heard like Wolverine versus Hulk. That's pretty sick, but done right, it will be really sick. So I'm a little worried about the cameos. Like, hopefully they can do it right, like No Way Home, and make it feel earned. And then the final thing is, a little slight thing is, just from the trailers alone, we can see lots of this movie are in, I think it's called The Void, the world from Loki, where like the prune things go, and it's just like a big mess of like random stuff that got pruned, and that's where they sent it. And that looks like tons of the movie is going to take place there. And me personally, that whole place doesn't seem the most interesting for a movie, so I'm really hoping that is not the whole movie and they go outside. Or I know they will leave the void, but I hope there's like a lot of outside of the void scenes that we are not seeing in the trailers, because yeah, just it's just like a desert and it's these muted colors. So if that was the whole movie, it would be a little bit boring. But yeah, so they seem kind of nitpicky things, but it's just, this movie has so much hype around it that I want it to be perfect. And so I'm just really like watching every detail and stuff like that. So with that said, that is my list for the top 10 most anticipated movies of the second half of 2024. Boy, is that a title. I'd love to hear some of the 2024 movies from the later half that you're excited for. I will see you in a couple weeks. I'll see you for sure for Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm definitely going to review that. I have to review that. So hold me to my word. If something comes up and I don't review that, I will hate myself. Maybe think of a punishment if I don't review that movie. But yeah, so I'll see you for that for sure. Hopefully I'll make a movie in between then, and farewell.